Deere 2030. While we're doing the front end up, we're going to replace these tie rod ends. And we have new tie rod ends here. This is a Bearco brand, and this fella here is Bearco number 5525. And the one coming in through the back here, he looks like that. Got the notches in the back. And Bearco number is 5524. Now if you hop on the Bearco website, bearco.com.au, and do a search for those numbers, that'll give you the genuine John Deere numbers so you can cross it back through. This one I notice has a nylon lock nut on it, but the original type had a locking nut, a castellated nut, I'm sorry, and a split pin. So I'll just see, is there a hole in this one? Yeah, there's no hole in this one for a split pin, so I probably would have preferred it did, but look, it's not going to matter either way. Now on the, if I zoom you in a little bit, where the clamp is there, you'll notice that there's a split in here, and just take note of that. Before the camera come on or turned on, I took the bolt out. There's a bolt out at either end, but when you put the bolt back in, keep in mind that the clamp, or where the bolt is on the clamp, has to be on that gap there, so that when you tighten the clamp in, it actually tightens the thread on there. With the one on this far end being a notched one and being in this tube, often they're very tight. So it's often best to tackle that one first. Reason being, it gives you something to hold on at this end. And if you have a real tight one, you leave this bolt in and make sure he's nice and tight, and then you hold that end. Now, to hold the end, holding it like that just doesn't work. It just won't. And what I like to do is put it down in the bottom part of the vise there and clamp on the old tie rod end, and that gives us a bit of room here to work on this. Because it's up in here, they often get rusted in, and when they're rusted in, they're bloody hard to get out. Sometimes if they are rusted in, what you can do is grab a hammer each side and do this around a few places. And why are we doing that? Well, we're just trying to free up the rust. Any rust that's in there, we're just trying to loosen it up a little bit, give it a bit of a jar, just to help out with freeing it all up. I'll just bring the camera down a little bit so you can see a bit more of what's going on. Alright, now this fella here, with the notches, that's how much is in there. So you got a fair way, there's 250 millimetres. So what I often do first up, grab a big spanner and put in and see if it can be turned. Now see that? That's turning the whole pipe. So that's not really what I wanted to do. So what we'll do is, I thought I'd save time with this bolt, but looks like I need to put it back in. With my hammer spanner. So we'll clamp this all I'm doing now is lining it back up with the split and through here. And we'll just nip that up. So where I was saving time, I actually wasted it. Wrong spanner for the right job, but anyway, doesn't matter. You can hear the shed creaking a bit. Looks like we're going to get a bit of a shower, so the shed's cooling down. Right, we've tightened that up. We'll put it back in here. Now, if you haven't got a vise to do this in, the arm on the tractor, you know, where this goes into, you can drop one end in there, then work on the other end. So we'll give this a bit of a go again. Oh look, that's turning, so that's an easy one. So that's turning like that, there's a fair chance we'll get that out. I'll get this clamp out of the way. If that's turning, we'll bring this in here further to support it. And we'll rock him back and forth a little bit and just to loosen him up. WD, and I'll just get the lowering pick and we'll clean out the groove where it has to slide, just get any rubbish out of there. And we'll give it some. And I'm just turning it back and forth at the loosest place. It feels a bit loose in there, so we'll... As that's going, I'm pulling on this out this way. So. Because the axle's right in close, these both were right in. These notches are if you have a different axle setting, the clamp will go through here or here or here, depending on how wide you need the track of your tractor. So I'll get a set of vice grips or a set of multi-grips and see if I can give this a bit of a rock back and forth. Feels a bit easier now. Whenever I put these new ones in, I never seize it all, but look, to tell you the truth, that one there, getting that out, that was an easy kill. They're often way, way tighter than that. So, now we have that out. We'll turn him around, hold him in the vise, This one turns. We know it turns because it turned on us before. So we'll get the clamp out of the way. We'll get the bolt out of the way. And I'm just popping the clamp up there so if it was holding any spring tension on here, it's gone. And now the same thing. That's ready. Okay. So as we turn, we'll squirt on the groove there. And by doing that, that actually, I'll bring you in a bit closer and try and focus you. The one thing or another. And by spraying it as we turn, we're introducing a little bit of lubricant all the way around. Ah, she's on her way. And these here, they're where you adjust your toe in. So when your wheels are in the straight ahead position, you're looking at the rim at kingpin height, or at the stub axle height, you're looking at about 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimetres toe in. And these threads here, that's how you get it. You just adjust these a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, and that adjusts your toe in for you. So that's one out. I'll tidy this up before I start putting these in, and I'll be back in a minute. Well, here's our tie rod, and you can see the end where the thread is, there's a little notch. I've sanded along there. They get a burr in them sometimes, and so I've tidied that up. This one here, you can see where the moisture's sat around there, so I've tidied all that up. There was a few hammer marks on there as well, so we'll just a little bit of muck in that thread, in that still. So what I do from here, just hold that in the vise like that. Get your favourite anti-seize, never seize product, and put heaps up the tube. And as the rod goes in, that will push it ahead of us a little bit. I'm getting a little bit low, I better. Take the top off so I can get down and dirty with it. There we go. That's a bit better. And on the new bar, make sure it's nice and clean. no burrs. Go to manufacture, make sure that's alright. And we'll put a bit of this up and down here as well. This mightn't come out for another 10-20 years, so you want to give the next poor bugger a chance. Might be me. We should be able to get that right up in. Beautiful. And you should be able to do that without hitting it with a hammer. So now we'll bring the clamp down. Just have a look at the clamp, make sure there's no burrs or anything like that. I should have actually put this on the other end, but when you're filming sometimes you get a bit distracted. Right, so now line that up. Make sure the bolt's in good order. A little bit of never sees on the bolt. Line him up with the groove. And tighten him up. Now we can tighten this one up. I do them firm here now, and when I get them back on the tractor, I do a final check once I've done the wheel alignment. So that one's on. I usually like to leave the nut on them just in case I bump the thread. Okay, this end. The threaded end. So it's basically the same plan. Put the clamp on first. And line up the holes so the bolt goes through that little nick there. So do that now. That's pretty good. And same thing, a bit of never sees. A bit of never sees on the male thread. And screw him in. Now when we look at the old one, you can see there was only about a thread sticking out. So we'll take it to there. Everything's nice and free now, so when we need to do the toe in, I'll do the toe in, we're okay. Now there is sometimes leaving this other end loose can be an advantage if you just want to turn the shaft here to move your thread in and out. And look, we may even have to do that yet, it just depends. But I don't like doing that. It marks up, if you've got to put Stilsons or something on this bar, it marks it up and looks terrible. So what I like to do is just sit it in the taper loosely and go from there. That's getting a bit firm in there. I'll just put a spanner on the outside of the nut without touching the rubber. And these are actually opposite. One goes up, the outer one should go up, and this one should go down. So I'll just try and take this another turn yet. I don't think it's gone far enough. I should probably get the right tool, but I just can't see the damn thing. That feels like it's bottomed out a little bit, I believe. We'll get a bit better of a clamp on it. It is feeling a bit tight there, so what we'll do, we'll just back him off. Back him off so these are both opposite each other. And we'll get the bolt. A little bit of never sees on the bolt. We'll line the bolt up with the groove that's there for it. And we'll just do that up loosely. So that's about all there is to it, really. That's just doing one side. We have to do the same to the other. Then, yeah, well, once we get over there, we'll do the toe in. But that'll do for this video. All I want to do was show you how to replace those in case people don't know. Very basic job, nothing to it really. You can come into strife getting this out, getting that file there out. This one has some paint on it still, but they do get rusted in, especially in coastal areas. And I've had them where I've had to get this whole bar red hot with the oxy to get them out. That was quite an easy fix today, and we were fortunate that we did get an easy run. But yeah, look, if you can't get them and you have an oxy set, try and heat up along here and tap it with a hammer to loosen any rust flake. The heat turns the rust into powder, and smack it along with the hammer like I did earlier. Try and loosen any rust up and go from there. But look, that'll do for this video. This is just part of a series I'm working on, the old John Deere 2030. So when we get the axle all back in, and well, we have the centre in, once we get the kingpin housings and all that on, well, then we'll have a look at doing your toe-in adjustment.